in what could be a precursor to my eventual collapse in mind and body and auctioning off my entire collection, there's a gigantic game collection coming up for auction in New Jersey. It's a 35-year-old collection reported by our pal Chris Kohler.
Indeed.
Making inroads into the CU podcast. He's going to be a third host soon, it seems like. This is on Kotaku. Tri-state area game collectors may want to take out a second mortgage. The ultimate nerd basement stacked to the rafters with classic video games. Computers will be put up on the auction block in New Jersey on May 31st. Okay. This is from New Jerseyan Bill Loguidis, 45, and author of several books about vintage video games. So he used all these games to build up a knowledge base to write some books, which is pretty cool. Let's see. He did, let's see. I thought the link would go to there directly, but I'll look into that later while we talk about this. So you have a bunch of old computer stuff, MSX computers, ones that I've either seen once or never before. What was the one? There was, if you look through there's a bunch of good photographs of these. There's a 5200. There's like accessories like the Atari Commander.
Bunch of MSX computers.
There's weird new Atari flashbacks there too. Lots of old ass big box PC games, which I have in my garage now, which we'll get into that. Various Atari computer games, including Dig Dug and Wizardry. Also note the copy of Star Glider 2 in the rightmost pile. That's a 1988 flight game using flat shaded polygons that looks a lot like Star Fox, probably because it was made by Argonaut Software, the eventual maker of Star Fox. Interesting factoids. So we have a ton of old computer stuff on here. A ton. I'm looking at other pictures. You have monitors. You have Apple computers. There's like Commodore stuff in the picture. Might be probably an Amiga or two in there. A bunch of 3DO games. It looks like a Pong standalone systems in there. If you look on the side there, you have, it looks like some sort of Magnavox Odyssey. What is that? A display banner? What is that? You see that in the one picture? You get a bunch of TurboGrafx and PCFX and Super Graphics stuff there. That's very interesting. Looks like probably 60 to 70 games in all there. That's a decent amount of stuff there. The next one, you have the Dragon Channel, which I've actually seen at the Swap Meet before.
Really?
Twice? I've seen it twice by the same seller. So I know that was something that wasn't really available here. That was like in the foreign market.
Oh, by the same seller. Okay.
It's a obscure clone of the TRS-80. So I didn't know it was a clone of that. I have seen that thing before. Believe it or not.
I knew it was a clone. I've never seen it in my life. I've never even seen a picture of the box.
I should have bought it. You know, it was that rare. I knew it was probably, I was like, what the hell is this? And he has, 5 of them there. He has like 2 or 3 in the box and 2 loose. I don't know how did he get more than one? I do not see, though, something I used to own, which I regret selling. The MP1000 Imagination Machine computer, which they only made like 1,000 of them. And I had one.
I can't believe you got rid of that.
It was like 2004. I wasn't really collecting everything.
Yeah, you've told me the story.
It had everything. It had the original shipping box. It had all the software. I think it went to some Germany collector. It all went for like $700, and that was like 2004. If that was today, it would go for 3 to 4 times that probably. Maybe he has one hidden there. Okay. So this is going to go up for auction here in different pieces. 100 of the best pieces are going to be auctioned online, and then there's going to have a lots of stuff which we always talk about. That's the best way to sell off collections.
Oh yeah, it 100% is. People ask me all the time, what's the best way to sell off my collection if I want to get the most money.
It's going to be a physical auction too.
Yeah, if I want to get the most money, or how do I do it the quickest? Well, I think people always want a magic trick in my answer, but if you want to get the most money, you have to sit there forever and auction it off piece by piece. That's how you have to do it. I mean, in a simple way in your head, that's the answer people want. They don't want to hear it, but that's how you make the most money. The easiest way to do it is do it in lots. You're not going to make as much money immediately, but you're also going to waste a lot less time. It's just so much easier to do it that way.
So this is what Bill has written. He's written all these. He's written the Atari Flashback Essential Companion. He's written Coco, The Colorful History of Tandy's Underdog Computer. That's interesting. He's written a vintage game consoles book, My Xbox One on Kindle, Vintage Games, Wii Fitness for Dummies. Okay. My Xbox, My PlayStation Vita, Atrix for Gummy. What is Atrix? Oh, that looks like it's a phone companion. What is that? Yeah, so he's done a bunch of these before. So he's used his collection for good, for the most part. Where's that Dragon Tano book though? I don't see that one in there. But okay, when I look at this collection, he's not gonna get back what he put into it.
Well, no.
Probably not, unless he got most of these games for pennies. But the problem is, looking at stuff like the Tano Dragon or the NEC Trek PC 6001, you're gonna have a few people that might want to get into that stuff.
Yeah.
Most people aren't gonna care about it. I mean, that's just what it comes down to. Just looking at not just computer game and computer enthusiasts versus retro games in general, but just overall, you're not gonna have a lot of people in your set. I even come across Apple collectors of old stuff that just like collecting old Apple stuff. So that stuff can sell day and night, most likely.
Sure.
I think that's someone that I came across like Apple's original digital camera that I bought. I bought it and I sold it on eBay and made some money. I was kind of shocked by that. It's like they had a digital camera at one point in time, way back in like the late 90s, early 2000s. So when you look at like all these old PC games there, the only thing I'm thinking is that I don't know who's going to buy that. And either someone that wants an instant computer game collection, because you try piecemealing that out to sell it, I don't know if you're going to get that far doing that.
Well, he said he's going to put it up in lots. I think that's going to move it very quickly. You can't, when a collection gets to that size, you can't piecemeal it. You've created a monster.
I mean the person buying it. What are they going to do with it? Like, there's always going to be interest in individual rare pieces, whether it's PC, Tandy, whatever, Apple, or retro games. But when you start saying, here's 200 big box PC average games from the 80s and 90s, you're going to have very few people that are willing to take on that amount in order to get something out of it.
I don't know. It depends on what the lots are and how he sizes them. I've seen plenty of people, you included, who make purchases and then worry about it later.
Sure. Okay. But I have never bought a bunch of a big box lot. Have I bought a big box lot?
I believe you have.
On eBay?
No, but most of this is being done live in person. Only 100 pieces are being put up for auction online.
Individual pieces. Okay, so in person, you have to go in person. Okay, so now you're limiting the audience even more. You're going to be in person for these lots.
Yes.
Okay. Well,
100 of the best pieces are set to be auctioned online. The vast majority of tens of thousands of items will be sold in lots via the live auction.
Okay. So then we're not going to go. I'd be interested in knowing there. Maybe Chris will take a journey there to report on it for Kotaku.
I would love to go. This gets me. I don't normally get thrilled about this sort of stuff when people are selling collections and things, but I got to tell you, one of my favorite things every year, at least for the first couple hours until we run out of beer, is the... I love sitting around. Well, actually, it's usually with Chris and my buddy Frank. I love sitting around at the Portland Retro Gaming Auction.
Why don't you sit with your friend Pat?
Because by the time we do,
what? No, I sit with Dane. Go on.
Yeah. So, anyways, it's a lot of fun, but you do see some really cool stuff.
There's some Neo Geo there, by the way, too.
So it would be really neat to go to something like this big because you know you're gonna see just all sorts of crazy bullshit you'd never think.
You might have retro game vendors and collectors driving from multiple states.
Absolutely.
To come see here.
I would not be surprised at all if some of this ends up in convention halls this year or next year.
It really depends. Well, like stuff like the Neo Geo and TurboGrafx and PC Effects, you can put that online and sell that to anyone. That's what I would do. Sure. I wouldn't sell that in person unless it's so huge that you couldn't ship out. But from what I see, it's not for those stuff. But
depending on how he does it in lots, you could see a lot of local stores showing. I mean,
Digital Press. Maybe Digital Press will just buy most of it.
I think it's... I don't think he's going to have a hard time. I think doing it as a live auction is going to make it very easy for him. He's not trying to dictate the price by setting a price on it ahead of time. I think that this should probably go very smoothly.
This is going to be Bodner's auction. Bodner's auction. There's more pictures on the website. There's a link there. While we talk about it, I'll just scan through the pictures here. It's from various. It's not all old stuff. There's some newer stuff here too, but it looks like it's mostly old stuff. There's some weird stuff in here that I don't recognize at all. Lots of pieces and parts, monitors. There's a PS Vita, PlayStation. So it looks like this is going back to the early 80s up until not all modern day, but some. Yeah, there's looks like 20 Neo Geo games.
Did you notice that in that first picture, there's a copy of Football Frenzy?
Was there really?
First picture.
There was. Okay.
Yeah. The very first picture at the top of the article. Football Frenzy.
Okay, well, there you go. We're never going to mention that game ever again in the podcast. We mentioned it twice in one podcast.
Mm-hmm.
So this guy's 46 and getting out of this. He said, okay, I wrote some books getting
out of the game.
So, at what point does this start happening every other month? And that was something I was talking about on Twitter. At what point would you have these large collections all of a sudden start to be liquidated or auctioned off?
Pretty regularly. I mean, I'm
talking about. I'm not talking about this is going to start happening tomorrow, but there's going to be a point in time, some year, where this won't be a story anymore. Where this is going to be like, whoa, we have 50 collectors this year getting rid of their collections at the same time, or like around the same time, and doing that. It's going to happen.
Sure.
I don't know if it's 5 years, 10 years. I think I just joked and said like 20 years now, 2038. This is going to be every other month. It's going to happen before that, though, most likely.
Yeah.
Because I talk about people my age in their mid to almost late 30s. In 20 years, I'll be close to retirement age, But there's collectors older than me that'll be getting out way before. This guy's 46. There's collectors in their 50s and 60s. We know some of them that are even older. Mm-hmm. We know one person locally that got rid of everything.
Yeah.
And he had a lot of stuff. About 60 years old. So that's like the magic age where at that point you really start reevaluating your life and what's important, retiring. But people even before that will be doing it.
Mm-hmm.
I already said I'm going to pare down some of my collection. I already have it a little bit. You've seen it a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm going to get rid of more. I have to organize. I'll get rid of more. The whole point.
I'll give you that.
He's giving me a point.
I'm giving you.
He usually kicks me in the balls all the time. I hear he's gonna tickle him a little bit.
I'll give you one.
So the point is this: at some point, this is going to be a regular thing. And then the reaction, he's got a bunch of like 90s computers, compact Presarios. That stuff's worthless for the most part. Like keyboards laying around. So I wouldn't be, when you hear like whatever this was, 10,000 pieces, it's like, yeah, there's 10,000 pieces, but those can be pieces of, some of it's going to be junk. But a chunk of this is going to be good though. There's mouses, there's flashback gold. So that's really recent then. Yeah. There's some cool stuff in here though. There's some definite stuff that's going to go. NEC Trek PC 6001. Yeah, I don't know anyone in the U.S. that would have had one of those or could have found one. There's your Macintosh there. So check this out, Tandy Color Computer. I want the Dragon Tano. I decided that. I want to get because the box is really colorful and cute.
Yeah, no, that's the main reason.
There's your Apple II for you, Ian. You can get one of that. A bunch of big box PC games. It looks like they're from the 90s. Looks like from there. They actually looked, and it's in a gigantic looking basement. All the stuff packed to the brim there, and a PS3. I just thought it was funny. Yeah, a bunch of TRS 80 games. I have some of those laying around. There's a Vectrex. You have a Vectrex. I think I saw some Emerson Arcadia 2001 games in one of the picture.
Woo woo.
That's for Ian's collection. He'll never do. The good old Dragon Tano. So all right. So I guess at some point we'll talk about my collection being auctioned on the podcast. Should I do that in person?
Yeah.
Can you imagine if I actually did that? How fun that would be. I would just have fun that day. I'd have it fully catered, have a buffet, get a live band,
tacos, nachos.
Would I do it in lots? You think, to break it up into lots?
You
like
would have to.
NES games A to G. No, that would be fun. So one person will get like 1/3 of the collection, and the person will get half of it. That'd be awkward. They start trading games back and forth.
Which chunk of alphabet is worth the most?
Ooh, that'd be, if only someone had a certain NES guide app. You could do it. Only if only someone was paid for that certain NES guide app. That'd be cool too.
Charity.
Bunch of amigos. All right, we had fun with this topic, but
we did.
Check it out. Be in New Jersey, end of May 31st.